Hello everyone, I am introducing my ENCMP 100 programming contest entry, Circling Circles. So this is the version 1 of the game that you enter the number of players. The number is going to be 4 for this. I'll skip ahead. Now, player 3 is going to enter their name. The name is going to be U. Again, just end up with U. Now you enter the first color and it's B. So player 3 is going to be blue. What button? Yeah. Now player 4, watch what happens. See, blue is now cut from the list. And I will put, blue is now the third at the top, so it's player 1 is green, player 2 is red, player 3 is blue. When their button is pressed and the enter key is entered, they will move in the direction of the line where it is facing at the time. And that it moves constant. So yeah, that's the game. Now, here's the version 2 code. You initialize, and now there's these squares, these mines, that if you touch any of them, the player will die. The player will die if he touches them, like right here. And so here's all my milestones and the date that they were completed. Yeah, so input statements, as you know, they do not allow code to run at the same time. You can't just run them in the background while other code runs. So my solution was to have two files. So one file edits a file called inputs.txt and the other file reads from it, so then they can both act independently of one another. This works very similarly to what's called multi-threading, where you use multiple threads to allow multiple lines of code to be ran at the same time. It is not the same as multi-threading though, since it's two separate scripts, but it achieves the same thing. And it would be similar to what they use for servers. So if I wanted to make this game multiplayer and do it over the internet, then this system would have to be used, or a system like it, so that they could send input packages so that the server could then read them and then update the system. So the circles cannot simply be put into the scene, because I need to create either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, depending on how many is chosen. Classes were used, basically just more powerful structs, like you can see on the right side here. And yeah, so they were given colors, names, and so yeah, and x, y coordinates, and those were set and then plotted. Circle movement was done by using the stick in front of them that will rotate just based on a timer. The timer will, and then the timer will be added to the position of the stick, and so the stick will be moved then. And then you use trigonometry to find the direction that the player should move in based on. Okay, so then it was creating the minefield. Now, creating the minefield was a bit more difficult. So I used a class, and so what I did was I used RNGs to get the center position for each of the mines, and then used the width of the square so that I could plot the squares all around in different areas. The squares would also be reinitialized, so if the player gets far enough to the right, the mines will be recreated and they will be put at the end. And so the software development process, the original idea for the game was that the balls would reflect off the obstacles, but this was changed due to time reasons. The process was going quite well in the beginning, but it got messier. And that's my project, Circling Circles.